After a pretty successful season in 2022 with all things considered, the Steelers are quietly building up a very good team that will dominate for years to come. They of course already have one of the elite coaches in NFL history that somehow managed to keep his winning streak alive. They also have a very young QB that I think is going to keep making strides forward every season, and they also have one of the most lockdown defenses in the whole league. In this video, I'm going to show you guys why the Steelers are building something special and why I think they are going to surprise a lot of people in the upcoming season. Before I begin this video, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We just recently hit 10K, so that means we are now on the road to 20K subscribers, which is just crazy to say. So after Big Ben retired, the Steelers knew they would have to do a little bit of rebuilding, but it's been pretty crazy how fast they got back to winning. Even though I really don't like this team, I definitely respect how they're run, and one thing I've learned throughout the years is that they just don't miss in the draft. Kenny Pickett was one of those guys that many people questioned, but the Steelers scouting team saw the potential he had, so they took him, and he had a great season for it only being his rookie year, playing 13 games, and not having the best offense around him. He put up 7 touchdowns and 2,400 yards, but did have a few too many interceptions because of the inexperience. I'm not saying that the offense around him was bad, but they definitely needed to improve, and the offensive line had moving parts all year. Anyways, basically what I wanted to get into is that the Steelers made massive improvements this offseason, big thanks to the draft, and I think Kenny Pickett is going to thrive with some of the new players this season and for years to come. First, I want to talk about Allen Robinson because he was a pretty big pickup and they basically got him for free. And if he can find a way to stay healthy, then I think he and Pickett will develop a solid connection. This is a guy who has the ability to put up 1,000-yard seasons, but things have just gone downhill the last few years, and I think a change of scenery was needed and will help a lot. So now with a receiving core consisting of Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Robinson, and a ton of other young guys, Pickett has a ton of options, and I know that you can say it's not that much different than when Claypool was in town, but I personally just didn't like him, and he only got 1 touchdown last season. Anyways, staying on the topic of offensive weapons, now I want to move to the tight end position because Pittsburgh got an absolute steal with the 93rd pick in the draft in Darnell Washington out of Georgia. Washington is a guy that could have gone a lot earlier, but slid down a little bit due to health concerns. This was a low-risk, high-reward selection because the Steelers, of course, already have Pat Freiermuth, who has solidified himself as one of the top up-and-coming tight ends in the whole league. But it never hurts to add more talent, and that's exactly what they did. Now in terms of the real issue the Steelers had to address this offseason, the offensive line really needed some work. First off, they signed Isaac Seumalo in free agency to a 3-year deal, who was a big part of that Eagles line last year that went to the Super Bowl. He also ranked 10th at the guard position last year in the whole entire league. But things definitely don't stop there because they also traded up and drafted Broderick Jones with the 14th pick. This dude has explosive athleticism and can impact the game in multiple phases. He's been the cornerstone of an offensive line that has landed Georgia consecutive national titles, and I give this pick a grade of an A- because he is still going to have to develop, but the ceiling is super high. And now to talk about the guy this O-line will be blocking for, Najee Harris is coming off a decent season, and even though he had some questionable plays, I think he's going to be fine, and just needs a full season without things changing from week to week. So yeah, the offense is looking a lot stronger coming into 2023, but now I want to turn things over to the defense because that is where they win a lot of their games. Starting off with the draft, Joey Porter Jr. was a pick that I loved, and even though it was technically a second rounder, it really was a first because of how the Dolphins lost their pick due to tampering. At Penn State, Porter Jr. was able to lock down almost everyone, and even though he isn't a guy that will force turnovers, he is super disciplined and just has a knack for contesting everything and never allowing an easy catch. I think he's going to be able to slide right into this amazing Steelers system and thrive, and according to what I've heard, this defense is already ahead of schedule and things are clicking. Minkah Fitzpatrick said that we're ahead of where I thought we would be. There are a lot of new faces in the secondary, a lot of new faces on the defense. When you have new faces, there is a lot to learn. I think because a lot of the new faces we brought in are experienced players, guys that played high-level football, that is why I think we are ahead of where I thought we would be. Alright, now I gotta talk about TJ Watt because he is the cornerstone of this defense, and him being fully healthy for the whole season could be the difference between this team being 9-8 or 11-6. I know those records don't sound anything like the dynasty I titled this video, but for Pittsburgh, it's not about the now, it's about the future, and with the core they have built, I really expect this team to continue to get better and better over the years. Last season, Watt had 5.5 sacks with 2 interceptions and 1 forced fumble in only 10 games. But as most of you know, the season before this, he was on an absolute tear, and that's what he's looking to get back to now that he's healthy. And for Watt, you just can't look at the stats because he impacts winning in so many ways, and he is just so much fun to watch. As a Browns fan, I really don't want to face this team twice again because this franchise owns us, and even though Big Ben is gone, I just have a gut feeling that Pickett is going to have Cleveland's number as well. This upcoming season is going to be so much fun to watch because the draft class was absolutely loaded, and the NFL is definitely in good hands for years to come. I really do think the Steelers drafted some sleepers, and they're going to prove themselves right away and fit into this system perfectly. Let me know in the comments below what your record prediction is for this team, and in my opinion, they're going to go above 500 again because they are the Steelers and just always find a way to get things done. That's all I have to say for this video. I am just so excited for this upcoming season, and even though I really dislike this team as I've mentioned many times, I gotta say, I respect how they're run from top to bottom. If you haven't already, make sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly means the world, and also let me know in the comments below what you would like to see next. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and until next time, I will see you all later.